This presentation looks briefly at the technique of target costing. A typical value system might be described as including elements such as research and development, design, manufacturing, marketing and distribution, followed by after-sales customer service. The target cost is particularly relevant at the design stage, as this is where the cost of manufacture is determined as well as the features of the product. To determine the target cost, we take the price we think will be competitive in the marketplace, usually ascertained via marketing research, and deduct the desired profit margin, which leaves us with the target cost. If we can't get the cost down to this level, then it could be argued that it isn't a viable product offering. It is suggested that lowering the cost of design without losing the functionality of the product can be a motivating factor for employees. If we were to look at this as a step-by-step process, the first thing we could do is determine the market price, and this is usually done via marketing research, or it could be, if we're entering a market that exists, we take the main competitor's price as a proxy price to begin with. We then need to determine the desired profit for this particular product, and deducting that from the price would obviously give us the calculated target cost. We can then use techniques such as value engineering to identify ways to reduce the product cost. Also using Kaizen costing and other techniques to see whether we can get the cost down to the target cost. One aspect of this process is that we need to make sure that we have as accurate a costing system as possible and as good an understanding of how the costs are incurred, i.e. the cause and effect within the cost drivers. Let's take a brief look at some of the methods we could use to reduce costs. We can use techniques such as value engineering. This examines trade-offs between different product functionality or features and their relationship between the total product cost. We are essentially trying to understand the costs of providing the functionality or features and stacking this up against the value added to the customer. Within this, we could use functional analysis. Here we look at the analysis of the functions offered and make decisions based on marketing research, again with reference to the value and the cost. We could look at the design analysis, maybe looking at different designs as these impact on the cost of manufacture, maybe reducing the number of parts, which makes assembly easier, or using standard parts, which again reduces the cost. And of course, allied to this, we have to have a good understanding of the costs associated with the various decisions, and using computer-based databases that include comprehensive information about the firm's cost drivers is obviously helpful here. The key though is to ensure that we don't take away the reasons why customers buy the product in the first place just because it reduces costs. We could use a technique known as Kaizen costing. Kaizen costing is basically looking at continually reducing the costs, a process of continuous improvement. And the focus here is to try and reduce costs via improved methods of manufacturing, operations control, and techniques such as total quality management. One aspect of target costing is that average costs will reduce as the volume increases, depending of course on the incidence of fixed costs. So it might be possible to achieve the target cost when the volume approaches 20% of the potential market. This can mean that setting the price is critical, as losses may be made in the first instance, but the rewards of achieving a high market share and high volumes can be very profitable. And this of course emphasises the importance of working very closely with the marketing team, as estimating demand can be critical in setting the pricing. So target costing is achieved through teamwork right the way through the whole process, not just by one department. So target costing is a team effort. Looking at competitor products can also be important, particularly if there are existing products in the market, and looking at how our competitor products are made is just as important as estimating the total cost of manufacturing and product costs. Value engineering and the design team we've seen can play a key role, as does customer feedback and building that into the design. Redesigning production and what and how support services are provided can also be significant, And of course not forgetting the marketing, distribution and after sales service aspects, as these all have an impact on costs. The key thing to remember is that the cost can be saved throughout the whole value system, including working with external suppliers, and the ultimate aim is to hit the target cost. This video is part of a series of short videos that explain specific aspects of the strategic management framework and cover some of the strategy models that can be used in the analysis, formulation, implementation and review and control of strategy and the role of the management accountant. This presentation is provided as part of the support materials for the book Management Accounting in Support of Strategy by Graham S. Pitcher and published by Business Expert Press.